Hey gang, Dead Girl here. Today I am joined by Brian Sims, who plays everyone's favorite witch, Borah, and I'm also here with the fine gentleman, Mo, who's going to be working with Brian on Borah's new look for this Halloween season. Now, how did you guys meet each other? Where did this start?
Hi, Erica. Hi, Mo. Thanks for having us, Erica.
Hi,
Well,
Erica.
I have a neighbor named Scott Peterson, and he and I were talking, and I said I need somebody to build a costume for me. He said, "Well, I've got the perfect guy. His name is Mo. I work with him." And so he gave me his contact. I called up Mo. I said, "Mo, I do this little witch thing, and she's ragged and beat up and torn up. Do you have any interest in building a costume for me?" And Mo said, "Go ahead,
I
Mo."
said, of course. I love doing these things. But when I first met Brian, I wanted to know who Bora is and where she came from at what time period. Because I'm interested in costume and clothes. Usually, like close it's the 5 second you judge people of not necessarily judge but like you build a story in your head and from the first 5 seconds you see a person based on what they're wearing and based on what they're looking you build a story in your head you
Mhm.
see this guy wearing shorts and sneakers you say oh this guy either going running or coming at the gym you see
Right.
somebody in scrubs you see oh he's a doctor you see so our clothes tell a lot about us before even we say anything. So I wanted to know Bora's story. I know she's kind of fictional character, but maybe not.
Oh,
So I wanted to know a lot about her and where she came from, and Brian was like, telling me things about where she came from and how did she develop and for how long she's been living or not really living. Maybe she's dead. Maybe she's undead. It's all these things that came about to what I wanted, what we want Bora to tell with her look. So then next time I had Brian come over, and based on the time era, I started showing him, how people used to dress at that time.
okay.
Um,
Oh yeah,
so
Mo took this thing, took my idea and just I was like embarrassed because I'm like I thought that I had this not perfect character, but I had thought I had all the information and the parts working for this character.
And
And
then Mo
then
comes
Mo
along.
said, Bubba, let me tell you something. And so he made me watch. Well, didn't we watched this show when for the second time we met about. It was a reenactment of chambermaids putting together clothes back in the 1700s, 1800s,
yeah,
and there's like 30 pieces to this clothing. There's like a what do you call that hip thing that you wear?
I'm getting it like a hip pad type thing. But what I wanted to get is like, she was from that era, like from the 1700s. So I wanted to get to the silhouette of how women looked at that time.
Mhm.
So I wanted, from her silhouette from far away, if you delete all the details and you just look an outline of her, she would look like she's coming from that era. The volume, um, the top of the dress or the corset. It's not she's not gonna be in a corset because she's now living in the woods type thing, but her silhouette has to look that it's coming from that era, and then she died and got buried and hanged or whatever, she got burned, and she now this is how she is. So that's how I started developing how even with picking the materials, I went with Brian
Oh
to
wow, that
this
was a
fabric,
crazy
um,
experience.
and I focus like on the colors that they kind of look Halloween, but also they want it to look old, and like some fabrics that they're kind of easy to age. And at that time, they didn't really have any stretchy fabrics or any polyesters. It was mostly linens. The poor people wore linens, and the rich people wore silk and things like so, and maybe a little bit of cotton. But at that time, maybe linens were more, it would be more accurate.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's how we pick the materials for even picking, the buttons. And Brian had like a bunch of furs that, because she eats animals, she eats anything. So the
She's gonna
furs that
recycle those furs
You
into
got
part of her wardrobe.
So this is a
exactly.
animal cruelty friendly. No animals were hurt in the making of this costume.
No, and
But
no
Bora
animals
just
were hurt.
Bora grabs whatever animals are sitting around. If they're dead or she kills them, she eats them and she wears her pelt. She wears her prize on her clothes. So I took a whole bag to Mo and I said, Mo, got all this fur. I got to incorporate it somehow. And he's doing a awesome job with
Now, and
this.
I'm not 100% sure of this myself. Now, what time frame is Bora from originally?
Originally she was born in the early 1600s. She's died and come back several times. And
Okay.
so this costume that Mo is building is a morphing from way back in the 1700s, and how it's developed and evolved through her, as he said earlier, when she was hanged or burnt or and buried, and all the worms that ate it, and she
Mhm.
came out of that, and she's moved for all these years, and this October you'll see the end result of all that, all that morph and transition through all those years. You'll be able to
That's
see that.
exciting. That's so. Now,
If
what
that
did you
makes
think
any
when
sense.
Brian brought you this bag of fur? Oh.
So the fur that came, um, for me, like I didn't really work with furs before, and I think Brian, he can tell more how he gets these old furs that people don't want anymore, and they can be incorporated. And there was this one piece that it had. I thought I'm okay. Like I can live with working with furs. Like it's a bit scary, but this piece that has all little tails and little feet of animal, and I'm sorry, like I'm touching this, but I'm about to, I don't know I don't think I've ever had this feeling before, but I'm not. I cannot
He
have
wasn't.
this feeling.
I pulled out this fur and had little baby feet all
Oh
over
my
it.
goodness.
Little
Not baby
baby
feet, but like
animals,
fox
like
feet.
Mm.
And he
the
goes,
fa-
"Oh, I don't know about this."
and it had a pocket, and it said, "Oh, there's
Oh,
something in the pocket." And I put my hand in the pocket, and there was a little, little paw, and I just like, "Oh, I can't do this.
That's where you draw the line.
This is
yeah,
too
I didn't
hard. This
realize
is
the
too
paw was
hard.
in the pocket. But
This
I
is
get the
too
furs
hard."
from secondhand stores, and there's a lady that just sent me all this fur that lives a couple hours away, and she had them in her attic, so she sent all this fur. So I just took them to Moe's, and
So work your magic, Mo. Work your magic.
so I brought all the fur back except for a couple of pieces. So we'll see.
Yeah, I kept a couple of pieces. I can experiment with them, but they very old. There's I don't think the animals anywhere less than probably 50, 60 years old. They were they were dead. So yeah,
Well, thanks for working with what you worked with, Mo.
yeah, of course, of course.
So now you guys have been shopping. You've picked out. You've got your fur. You've picked out some of the fabrics. And I know you mentioned going with like the Halloween color scheme. So is it going to be like burnt oranges and some blacks and other colors, or are you
Hmm.
going a different route with her this time?
You're
And
close. I think. Should we
you're
wait, Mo,
close.
or?
Yeah, I think we should wait because
Okay.
all the treatment and the beating and the burning, we'll see what color is gonna look
It
like.
may not be what
So,
it was originally
Well, once you
it
start
might be.
weathering a costume, when you take something that's super pretty and then you go to weather it, and there's various ways to do it. I mean, I've weathered my own stuff, and there's a little piece of you that dies just a little bit because it is such a beautiful thing. And then when you have to get down to kind of destroy it to add to that character, there's that little piece of you that's a little sad about it.
Well, I think so. In Mo's case, I think so because I don't know if you've had time to look at his work. His gowns are absolutely
Beautiful.
gorgeous. And when I first saw them, I'm like, Mo, I don't know if you're gonna be comfortable doing this because this is gonna have to be shredded to pieces, dirt. Like I said earlier, bugs have eaten her clothes. They're rotten. They're smelly. And
Yeah.
so he said it was a little stretch for him to go from beautiful, because this piece that I saw 2 weeks ago, 40% finished, is not even finished, and it is like gorgeous. And
Stunning.
me, I'm kind of like, I feel kind of bad asking you to rip it.
Like, make this beautiful dress and then destroy it.
Yeah.
No, we will. We will. Even after we destroy it, it's gonna be fabulous.
Tell you, Mo is so detailed. He sent me home with this yard of material, this new linen that we bought. And he says, go home and bury this. I said, for a
Mm-hmm.
couple of days? He says, no, bury it until I tell you to get it up. Just leave it buried until I tell you to dig it up.
Those are the old school, like, so now, which is a good thing because way, 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 way back when, like a lot of the makeup artists and a lot of the old school special effects artists, that's what they would do to get those zombied and worn and torn clothes. Is they would literally bury it in the yard, and then they would go and they would dig it up, and it would have that stink and the dirt, and it would just be all grimed into it. So, I mean, that's
Oh, like,
admittedly one of my favorite techniques with it because it's almost the natural way to do it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but also there's like other ways that I thought about doing is like maybe like tying it into a car and drive around,
I mean, you could.
or
I didn't know
like,
that.
so I don't know if you know, but in Iran, like, which is the most fabulous carpets are coming from, when they first finish the carpet, they put it out in the street for cars to step on it, for cars
Really?
to drive through it, because these carpet, the more it ages, the more beautiful it is. So literally,
Really?
Oh,
they leave the
wow.
carpet. Yeah, they leave the carpet out in the street to age, and it's so weird. You see, like, this piece of carpet is like, $5,000 carpet staying in the street for cars to pass over it. Um, so there's a lot of like real old techniques that can be done to age fabrics, which some of it. So I was thinking, like, put it out for cars to go through it, or or just tie it in a cart and drag it around. So it has, because no matter how much you do by hand, it's still gonna look a little bit like
Not as organic.
artificially. Exactly, it's still gonna be like artificially done. The placement, now, no matter how much you try to make it organic, your brain is gonna put some kind of pattern. But like, have it organically done, it's just so. I love that. I would love to see what nature decide to do with it.
Oh, I can see if you're dragging around a dress in Boston, you're going to get pulled over by the cops.
Right?
Right,
What
that's
is
what
he
I was
doing?
thinking.
That's hard to
That's why
explain. How do you
I was thinking, like,
explain that one?
Well,
right, I know.
where you
I
live, there's not a lot of traffic. You can just go around the
No,
building, the building, the building.
yeah, I don't think it's it's gonna be possible to do it in Boston. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what's gonna
You can
happen. And
you can do that in Salem, and no one is going to look twice at you.
Right. I mean, even in
There's
okay,
parts
gonna
of
so
Orlando, it's fine.
yeah,
we'll
they're
tie
gonna
it to your car.
that's fine. They're gonna say, well, wait a minute, where's the body?
In the trunk still, it's fine. So you said that now you're about 40% done with the new outfit. Are you going into many layers of it? Or are you just doing like a top layer? Or are you going into like some bottoms or anything like that? Like some
So
undergarments.
so far we have, I would say, 3 layers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think 3 layers. But maybe it's gonna be more, maybe less. Depends on how it's gonna evolve.
Well, he's made that hip lift,
Mm-hmm.
which is like one of those donuts you wear on the airplanes.
Yes.
That goes around the waist first, and he explained all this to me, and I'm like, well, how do you know? Well, I should know this, but he was like, so it lifts up the buttocks to make it look more full, right? To make the dress look more full. Is that correct or incorrect?
Yeah, to give the silhouette of that time, because
Yeah.
women did wear that hip pillow thing,
Yes,
to
on their
make the skirt
butts.
look, exactly, to make, after that, maybe more like in the 1700s, they started adding more to the sides to
Mhm.
make it look even bigger. But for Bora, I don't think her financial situation would add the sides. She would like be enough with the pillow, with the hip. That's only good. Maybe a little bit on the side, but mostly on the butt to give her that silhouette.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
So and there's a front piece like an apron, and then there's a back piece like an apron, and so he's made those two pieces. So I said, well, Mo, I got to throw these costumes on and off. He said, don't worry, we'll sew those two pieces together. So that's just one
Yeah.
piece you put on. So
It's got
it's
everything
built.
already in it.
Yeah. So he's built it like back then, but he's gonna tack it together, I
Modernize
think.
it a little bit.
So it's easy to put on and off.
That's
Yeah.
Yep.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So now you've got all kinds of, I know sometimes time is a good thing, and of course it runs out very quickly, as we all know. What is your
Mhm.
end completion date? When do you actually have to have the new outfit completed by?
When I finish paying them.
No,
I'm
I was
working the
thinking
street
maybe
to help pay for it.
I was thinking maybe July,
Okay.
July, because it's a, um, yeah, um, yeah. I have a couple of other projects as well, in the works. Um, yeah, but I think July should be a reasonable time,
And I'm
and we
hoping
have
we
another
can,
costume too.
pardon?
We have another costume too.
Oh, yeah, we do I forgot about that.
That's
We're doing one for Christmas.
We're doing one for
Oh,
Oh,
Christmas,
yeah,
which we
yeah.
have fabulous textile for it. It's a beautiful piece that we saw that said we have to have it.
It's another piece. Mo said that right there. That's it. And I agreed with him, but I'm like, this is too beautiful. It is an absolutely gorgeous piece of material. It's just beautiful. But that's not Bora, as we know.
Yeah.
So,
oh, I can't
but
wait to
I'm
see them.
I'm hoping we're going to do a costume reveal in August or beginning of September.
Mhm.
Oh, that would be
So that would
fantastic.
be fun.
Yes.
Uh,
We need to do something big and extravagant with it, like a coming out with it.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
would.
that would be nice. But Mo has stretched my thinking about this character because he, like I said earlier, he said, well, did she have family, and where did she live, and it was amazing the thought that he put into this costume just blew me away. Like I said, I was embarrassed because I didn't have that information, and I thought I had all the information for him. And I'm like, oh
You
my
were
gosh!
close.
But that's what you do when you collaborate.
Yes, yes, and I'm
Yes.
so
Yes.
excited, and I know,
Exactly.
well, you've done some beautiful, beautiful work. Now, um, do you, and I know that you're doing this for Brian, do you normally do commission work?
Actually, not.
Okay.
My relationship with costume making, I in the past I mostly done like evening gowns. I've done some like ready to wear, like everyday stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But my career has been very interesting path. I have bachelor's in science and chemistry, and I was born in Iraq, and that's where I got my degree. And then I moved to. I traveled around for about 5 years, and then I ended up in Lebanon, and that's where I decided to continue a little bit with fashion. And
Yeah.
then 2010, I came here to the States. But like when I first came here, I started a little business for evening gowns and wedding dresses. But Boston being student city, and uh, with the online businesses, like people don't grasp how much effort it take to build a costume, especially with bridal wear, and with me, I just don't want to do something just to do it, because I put a lot of thought into each piece I do it. So it was within, like, people loved the work, but by the end of the day, financially, it didn't make sense for me. So I
Right.
decided to take a 9 to 5 job. And when I met Brian, Scott, Brian's neighbor, I was actually an accountant at a biotech company.
Okay, so you're a jack of all trades then.
He's smart.
Correct. Yes. So yeah, but now I'm finishing up my master's in design and interviewing for design jobs. I will not be making costumes. I will be a user experience design.
Okay.
But I love creating things. I love making like troubleshooting and taking something and creating something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, so currently I'm getting my master's in, it's called master's in design, but it's pretty much like designing almost everything. It's just like there are certain principles that can be applied almost anywhere, just to be able to think like a designer, and explore all the possibilities in any in creating anything new. So I thought that's very me, because I obviously can, my brain can work in in almost in any setting, as long as I'm creating something, or playing with colors and possibilities. So
Oh, see,
yeah.
that's why it's so exciting to hear how much thought you've put in everything. So I really can't wait to see this completed look that you guys are putting together from Bora. I'm very
Yeah.
I don't even know what the end result's going to look like. I have no. All I know is what he's done so far. So
No,
I
it's
have a
gonna be good.
question, Mo. You say you don't usually do commission work. I'm just curious. Why did you say yes to doing this? I mean, I'm just curious. Was it to
I'm kind of
Uh,
because
curious
a favor
too.
for Scott,
so no, I
or
said
because I'm
yes
so
to do this.
beautiful? No.
That's must
Yes,
ah.
yes,
Right.
that's that's it. But no, I said yes to do this because so I've done a lot of costumes for me and maybe a couple of friends, and I always look for the absolute just wow type thing. So like theater and costumes is kind of what like I can do best. I can do really well, but I didn't put in the effort to go after it. With the theaters, and it's almost too hard to get into. But when I heard, like, okay, there's this character, first I fell in love with the character, and second, that era, at that time, I always wanted to make costumes from that looks like that. That somebody, when you look at this, you can tell what era it is
Mhm.
from. So I said yes because it's exciting.
Oh, thank you.
Because it yeah because it's yeah.
Thank you.
I wasn't even sure if I am ready for it, but like I said, no, I have to. This is what I want to do. I want to do more of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you want to see some like costumes I have done in the past, I can send you some pictures, but they're not to be published.
Okay.
Because
Well, if you want to
me
send
and
me
very
some, I would love to see them, and they would not leave my inbox.
yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'll send you some like Katy Perry for the Met Gala with the chandelier.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I've done that. I've done that 3 years ago. On a cruise where they did like a huge laser cut chandelier. I don't know if
Oh,
I showed you
wow.
that picture, Brian.
You showed me so many. I think I did see that one, and I loved
Yeah,
it.
like
It was
I
awesome.
had like a
Oh,
huge
yes,
lit
send it to me,
chandelier.
please.
Yeah, I did see
I
it. It was
did.
awesome.
Uh, yeah, last year I did like probably seen some pictures of like a dress made out of balloons, like a twist balloon type thing.
Yeah.
But I
That
think like
was amazing.
it's people like when you're in a convention or somewhere large, first you want to be noticed from far away, so you want
Of
something
course.
large and big, and then because when you have the volume, it will grab people from far away, and then they will come to see the details, the closer details, and that's when they even fell in love more with the costume. Um,
He's
so some
brilliant.
people like put a lot of thought into very intricate things, but I
Mhm.
don't think that's what theater is. Like theater, you need to see things from far away.
So they have to be bigger and brighter and just more eye-catching than it would be if you're standing 2 feet from someone.
exactly like
Yeah.
for evening wear because people kind of it's intricate, it's pretty, but for a person who's close by. But for
Yes.
theater, you want somebody from 30 feet away. You need they need
To be
you
able
need
to
to
see
stand
that.
out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well,
So
I think it's running close to 7:30 here, and I don't want to keep you, Mo. I know you've got some things to do.
mhm.
But thank you so much for
No
chatting with
problem.
Brian and
Yeah, no,
myself.
thank
And I
you.
can't wait to get those pictures. I'm super excited to see the amazing things I'm sure that you created.
Sounds good.
Mo, thank you so much. Thank you for
No, thank
everything. I
you.
can't wait to see it when you're done.
All right. All right.
All
Enjoy
right.
the evening.
All
You
right.
too.
Thanks.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
Mo.
Bye,
Bye bye.
Mo.